Hello and welcome back to Newsroom Nigeria. This is where we give you hot, fresh and sizzling news all day long. If this is your first time here, you have not subscribed to this channel, what are you doing? Please go ahead and subscribe. Also give this video a massive thumbs up, that we will encourage to put out more reliable and authentic news. Also leave your opinions in the comment section below as well. Nigerian billionaires have practically taken over the nation's power sector from the investors that bought the assets of a defunct power holding company of Nigeria, PHCN. In the 2013 power sector privatization exercise conducted by the administration of former President Goodluck Jonathan, checks revealed that while the money bags are on the verge of completing a clean sweep of the electricity generation arm of the power sector, with their generating companies, GenCos, accounting for over 75% of the current electricity generation in the country, they are in fierce competition with established industry players for the control of the electricity distribution arm. The third and final arm of the electricity supply chain, the transmission arm, meanwhile, is fully controlled by the Transition Company of Nigeria, TCN, an entity wholly owned by the federal government. According to BH findings, no fewer than 7 top Nigerian billionaires, including Alhaji Aliko Dangote, Femi Otedola, Tony Elumelu, Deji Adeleke, Toyin Cole, Saimeka Ofo, and Tunde Ayeni, have their tentacles spread across the nation's power chain. Leading the pack is Africa's richest man, Aliko Dangote, with a power generation of 1,500 megawatts. We don't put pressure on the grid. We produce about 1,500 megawatts of power for self-consumption, Dangote had reviewed at a recent public event. However, the Kano-born billionaire also has a license to generate captive power. Permits for captive power are issued by the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, NERC, to entities that intend to generate, transmit, and distribute power exclusively for their own use. By law, companies or entities awarded captive power licenses are not allowed to sell electricity generated from the plant directly to a third party. BH findings shows that while the Dangote refinery at Ibejuleki in Lagos alone has a 435 megawatt plant that can meet the total power requirements of Ibadan Electricity Distribution Company, his other businesses, including his cement, vehicle, and food production plants, account for the remaining 1,065 megawatts. However, a source in Dangote Industries Limited confided in our correspondent that the group's plants combined could only utilize about 900 megawatts, with the remaining 600 megawatts embedded power going to the nation grid for a fee. A big chunk of the power generated at the 435 megawatts power plant at Dangote Refinery is supplied to the Eco Electricity Distribution Company, EEDC. EEDC then sells the embedded power to companies operating within its zone, especially the Lekki Free Trade Zone, at a specially negotiated rate. Also, having a major stake in the nation's blossoming electricity power sector is the chairman of United Bank for Africa, UBA, Mr. Tony Elumelu. Elumelu's Transcorp Power Company is the owner and operator of the Ugeli power plant in Delta State with an installed capacity of 1,000 megawatts. The plant is currently operating at 972 megawatts, 18 megawatts short of its installed capacity. Apart from electricity generation, Elumelu also has its teeth deep in power distribution with the recent takeover of the Abuja Electricity Distribution Company, AEDC, by its bank, UBA. Can Consortium at the peak of a power privatization exercise in 2013, secured a loan from UBA to acquire AEDC, making it the majority stakeholder in the DisCo with a 60% stake. However, UBA took over AEDC in December 2021 over the inability of Can Consortium to service the $122 million debt it collected from the bank. In May 2023, a consortium led by Transcorp Group acquired a 60% majority stake in AEDC after the National Council on Privatization, NCP, approved it as the preferred bidder. Immediately after the acquisition, Transcorp Power plc appointed Christopher Ezeafulukwe as Managing Director, Chief Executive Officer, to direct the affairs of AEDC. The acquisition of AEDC has further solidified Elumelu's foothold in the power sector. Another major player in the nation's power sector is Deji Adeleke, chairman of Pacific Holdings. Adeleke's Pacific Energy owns two of Nigeria's biggest independent power plants, Olorunshogo Power Plant in Papalanto, Ogun State, and Omotosho Power Plant in Ondo State. With a 640.8 megawatts combined operating capacity, Pacific Energy rivals Transcorp Power's operating capacity of 972 megawatts. A 1,250 megawatts power plant in Ondo State, scheduled for completion in the second quarter of 2025, will make Pacific Energy Nigeria's largest independent power producer upon completion. Femi Otedola is another Nigerian billionaire with a massive stake in the nation's power industry with Geregu Power plc. Located in Kogi State in north-central Nigeria, Geregu Power Plant's two reactors have a combined operating capacity of 435 megawatts. Built in 2006, the power plant was acquired by Otedola in 2013, with Shanghai Municipal Electricity Power Company of China serving as technical partner. In 2024, Otedola partnered with Siemens Energy to triple Geregu's capacity to 1,200 megawatts. The plan includes a massive upgrade of a current plant to accommodate an extra 200 megawatts and the construction of a new unit of 500 megawatts built from scratch. In the league of major billionaire investors in the Nigerian power sector is Rivers State-born Tonye Cole. Cole's company, Sahara Power Group, is the lead partner in KEPCO Energy Resources Limited, the majority shareholder in Ekping Power Station, Lagos, Nigeria's biggest power plant with an installed capacity of 1,320 megawatts. Cole's company, Sahara Group, is also the principal partner in the NEDC KEPCO Consortium, owners of Ikeja Electricity Distribution. Likewise, Enugu-born billionaire Sir Emeka Offor is a major player in the Nigerian power industry. His Chrome Group owns and manages the Enugu Electricity Distribution Company, which supplies electricity to the 5 southeastern states of Abia, Anambra, Ebonyi, Imo, and Enugu. Other lesser-known billionaires with considerable stakes in the power sector are Tunde Ayeni, Shola Ayodele, Augustine Onwokocha, Bolade Osibodun, Tope Shonobi, and many others. According to sources in the power sector, the surge in interest among billionaires for a stake in the power sector could be attributed largely to the impressive earnings made by already established electricity power firms in the last 10 years. Though the impressive performances cut across the two major electricity power sector, generation and distribution, the positive financial performance of major players in the electricity generation sub-sector, especially the two listed firms on the Nigerian Exchange Limited, Geregu Power plc and Transcorp Power Limited, has drawn many positive attention to the industry. An unprecedented surge in earnings by operators in the nation's electricity markets in the last 5 years, Newsroom Nigeria learnt, is largely responsible for the frenzy rush among billionaires for the power gold mine. For instance, Geregu Power, owned by Lagos-born Femi Otedola, reported revenue of 137.1 billion naira in 2024 compared to 82.9 billion naira earned in 2023. The figure represents a 65.39%, that is 54.2 billion naira growth in revenue. Energy sales alone made up 87.4 billion naira, or about 63.8% of total revenue, while capacity charges made up the remaining 49.6 billion. Geregu Power also reported a pre-tax profit of 41.2 billion naira, in 2024 operating year, an increase of 17.8 billion naira, which is 69% from the 23.4 billion naira realized in 2023. Total dividing for the 2024 financial year stood at 8.50 kobo per original share. In the same vein, Transcorp Power PLC, owned by Tony Elumelu, reported a massive revenue of 305.9 billion naira in full year 2024. The realized revenue represents about 115% growth from the 147.1 billion naira earned in FY 2023. Further analysis of a result shows that while gross profits grew by 89% from 75.4 billion naira in FY 2023 to 142.2 billion naira in FY 2024, profits after tax leaped by 165% from 30.2 billion naira in FY 2023 to 80 billion naira in the full year of 2024. Also, return on equity grew from 52.25% in FY 2023 to 63.19% in FY 2024. This demonstrates efficient income generation from equity. Total dividend for the 2024 financial year stood at 5 naira per original share. In the same vein, Adeleke, owner of Pacific Energy, has been smiling to the bank owing to the recent change of fortune of operators in the power industry. News from Nigeria gathered that the Osun State-born billionaire grossed over 80 billion naira in full year 2024, owing to a sharp increase in electricity tariffs across the board approved by the federal government. However, News from Nigeria was unable to verify the figure supplied by a source in the company, as Pacific Energy is a private entity and is not listed on the NGX. Let's have your total opinions in the comments section. Reading this just validated the fact that we are just being exploited as a nation. In conclusion, that is my own conclusion, that we are just being exploited. The reason for, the increase that we have been getting, or the high payments that most people have been paying for electricity these days, cannot just be explained. It's just unreasonable. Because it seems like, these rich people are just making poor Nigerians pay more, just for them to smile to the bank and get more money. Imagine the amount of money. If otedola, Tony Elumelu and co can be making billions upon billions of naira yearly. We are talking of, 100 billion naira upward yearly. So is it that they are not losing? Of course, if Nigerians are paying what we used to pay before when it comes to electricity, which means they still have a lot of gain. So what's the reason for the hike in electricity price? What's the reason? What's the reason for band A paying more than band B? What's the reason for the discrimination? It is now so absurd that in houses in Lagos where they use band A, you will see lights. There is light, but everywhere will be dark. People will be afraid to turn on their electricity. People will be afraid to turn on the lights. Even for you to turn on lights in the night to see in Lagos now is very difficult, just because of the kind of hardship that these people are putting people in. So which means there is a lot of profits, because looking at all these profits, billion naira that they are making yearly. If otedola and co that just have about 1,000 that are just supplying about 1,000 megawatts. What about the power industry themselves from federal government? Do you know how much they will be making? We are just being exploited. That's the long and short of the story. You all, let's have your thoughts and opinions in the comment section. May God help us, in this country. That's the only prayer.